Hello, and welcome to Projected Meditation. Here we invite you on a unique journey beyond traditional meditation. Prepare to project your mind into captivating stories, feeling every emotion and detail as if you're truly there. This isn't just listening, it's an immersive experience designed to transport your consciousness through the power of narrative. To begin your projected meditation, please follow these simple steps. Find a peaceful space where you won't be disturbed for the next minutes. For the best immersive experience, please use headphones or earbuds. Lie down or sit comfortably, ensuring your body is relaxed and supported. When you're ready, gently close your eyes. This will allow your imagination to unfold freely. Take a few deep, slow breaths, inhaling peace and exhaling any tension. Now listen carefully for the signal. Upon the third chime, your journey will begin. The gas lamps outside the suburban American train station cast long, wavering shadows across the frosted platform, their soft golden light shimmering in the crisp, cold air of the deepest night. It was well past midnight in the quiet town, the world seeming to hold its breath. Inside the small, cozy station house, where the air hummed with a sleepy, comforting warmth from the cast-iron stove, Eleanor, the night attendant, sat behind her polished wooden counter. The steady, rhythmic click of the old wall clock was the loudest sound, a diligent guardian of the passing hours. The inviting aroma of stale coffee, coal dust, and old paper mingled in the air. Eleanor's nimble fingers ran a soft cloth over the brass bell on her counter, its surface gleaming under the overhead bulb, reflecting the quiet room. She appreciated the simple coolness of the metal against her palm, finding quiet satisfaction in the mundane act of polishing. Beyond the counter, sturdy wooden benches, worn smooth by countless travelers, stood empty, absorbing the profound stillness. The only other sound, besides the clock, was the almost imperceptible creak of the old building settling, a comforting silence, deep and enveloping. A deliberate, heavy thud on the platform outside signaled a subtle shift. Tom, the night watchman, pushed open the station's heavy wooden door, admitting a gust of crisp, cold air, carrying the metallic scent of rail lines and damp earth. His worn boots scraped softly on the linoleum. He moved with the unhurried ease of a man completely at home in his solitary duties, a quiet presence that seemed to absorb the vastness of the night. Tom was shaped by years of quiet observation, built solid like old oak trees, his face etched with weathered lines. His deep-set eyes held a quiet knowing, a reservoir of human stories.
Quiet night, Eleanor.
Tom's low, steady rumble broke the silence. He moved towards the cast-iron stove, drawing warmth, then settled onto a wooden bench. He stretched his legs with a soft groan of contentment, a body finding brief rest. The faint scent of old wool and distant wood smoke clung to his heavy coat. Eleanor offered a faint smile, a silent acknowledgement of his presence and their shared solitude.
As most nights are, Tom, only the occasional early bird or very late traveler disturbing the quiet symphony of the clock.
She walked around the counter, carrying a steaming mug. From a pot brewing since the last express train, she poured him dark coffee, its rich aroma clinging to the porcelain. The liquid, still steaming, promised solace and warmth. He accepted it with a nod, his large, calloused hand dwarfing the mug, his gaze falling to the feathery patterns of condensation on the window pane. Outside, the world was a blurred canvas of deep blues and purples under faint starlight, serene and unmoving.
Seen many faces come and go, haven't we?
Tom mused, eyes tracing patterns in the frost, his voice a murmur.
Each one carrying a world tucked away in their valises or etched on their faces. Little stories, often untold, just glimpsed.
Eleanor nodded slowly, absently picking up a stray ticket stub, its edges softened.
Indeed, some leave an impression so profound, even without a word. Others, they choose to share a moment, a whisper of their journey, a glimpse into something profound, something that stays with you like a lingering scent.
Her gaze drifted to the empty platform, where cold, glinting rails stretched into unseen darkness.
There was a gentleman just a few nights ago who lingered here. His train, the early westbound, wasn't due for hours, yet he seemed in no rush. His suit was dark, well worn, but meticulously clean, smoothed by careful hands, and his hands. They looked like they held many things, some heavy with sorrow, some light with joy. They were the hands of a man who had lived deeply.
Tom took a slow, deliberate sip of coffee, warmth spreading through him. He settled deeper, inviting Eleanor to continue, the station air holding its breath to listen, amplifying the clock's ticking.
He caught my eye because he was tracing patterns on the foggy window with his finger, much like you just did, Tom.
Eleanor continued, her voice gaining a soft narrative rhythm, like a quiet stream.
Not words, just simple, flowing lines. Circles, spirals, loops connecting them in an intricate, fluid dance. His movements were slow, deliberate, almost trance-like. His face, usually set with a weary expression, held a concentration so complete, so gentle, that it seemed to smooth the lines of worrying from his brow, making him appear years younger. When I asked if he needed anything, he looked up, startled, then smiled. It was a very gentle smile, Tom, that seemed to light his eyes from within, like a hidden lantern.
The subtle scent of old wooden benches, warmed by the stove, deepened around them, a comforting embrace. Eleanor's gaze drifted to the faint, ethereal patterns the gas lamps cast on the ceiling, mimicking the tracings on the glass, a reflection of thought. The air felt still and waiting, pregnant with the quiet significance of the story.
"No, thank you, miss," he said, his voice soft, almost a whisper, yet clear like a single bell chime. Just admiring the dance of the unseen, he explained his life had been a relentless series of grand plans, always looking to the next big thing. He'd achieved much, but felt a persistent hollowness, missing something vital, some fundamental truth about living a present life. The constant forward momentum had, in a way, left his inner self behind.
The faint, rhythmic hum of the station's electrical system, usually unnoticed, became a subtle underlying current beneath Eleanor's words, pulling the listener deeper into the quiet space. Tom listened, his coffee cup steady, his gaze fixed on a distant, barely visible star through the glass. A tiny, unwavering pinprick of light. The quiet warmth of the coffee seemed to seep into the silence, a gentle comfort.
He then told me about his childhood, about a simple, almost forgotten practice his grandmother, a quiet, wise woman, had taught him. When he was restless, she'd tell him to find a smooth surface, glass, a tabletop, or his hand, and trace invisible patterns. Not to draw, but to feel the movement, the continuous, flowing connection between his finger and the empty space. She called it tracing the air. She'd say, "My dear boy, the unseen holds all possibilities, all potential, and in its gentle, unhurried dance, we find our quiet center, our true peace." He confessed that in his adult pursuit of grand achievements, in the relentless clamor of the world, he had completely forgotten this simple, profound wisdom. The urgent demands of the tangible had entirely overshadowed the gentle, ethereal lessons of the unseen, the subtle beauty of presence.
The imagined scent of cold, clean mountain air mixed with old-fashioned comfort briefly filled the station, conjuring images of simpler times. Eleanor's voice continued, steady and calming, a gentle thread weaving through the stillness, drawing the listener deeper into the man's quiet realization.
That night, waiting for his early train,
Eleanor continued, her voice gaining a gentle, wistful quality.
the unexpected condensation on the window pane triggered the vivid memory. He hadn't felt such profound peace, such a quiet, unwavering anchoring within himself in years. Just tracing those simple, unburdened lines, letting his finger lead and his mind follow without judgment or a specific goal. He was heading west to visit his ailing mother, a journey he dreaded, filled with unspoken regrets. But as he traced, a quiet acceptance, a gentle surrender to the present moment, settled over him like a soft blanket. He realized that life, like those invisible patterns, wasn't about the grand finished product or the perfect destination, but the gentle, continuous flow of each individual moment, each breath, each line drawn and then dissolved into the unseen. He understood that true peace wasn't found in monumental achievements, but in the simple, mindful act of existing, of truly being present in the quiet, unfolding flow of life. That night, waiting for his early train,
Eleanor continued, her voice gaining a gentle, wistful quality.
the unexpected condensation on the window pane triggered the vivid memory. He hadn't felt such profound peace, such a quiet, unwavering anchoring within himself in years. Just tracing those simple, unburdened lines, letting his finger lead and his mind follow without judgment or a specific goal. He was heading west to visit his ailing mother, a journey he dreaded, filled with unspoken regrets. But as he traced, a quiet acceptance, a gentle surrender to the present moment, settled over him like a soft blanket. He realized that life, like those invisible patterns, wasn't about the grand finished product or the perfect destination, but the gentle, continuous flow of each individual moment, each breath, each line drawn and then dissolved into the unseen. He understood that true peace wasn't found in monumental achievements, but in the simple, mindful act of existing, of truly being present in the quiet, unfolding flow of life.
Eleanor concluded, her voice softening to a mere whisper, almost melting into the profound stillness. The consistent, comforting ticking of the clock now filled the brief, resonant silence, a quiet rhythm absorbing the lingering echoes. Tom slowly nodded, a thoughtful, distant expression on his face, as if he too had been transported, feeling the gentle weight of a wisdom rediscovered. He rubbed the rim of his coffee cup, a quiet, almost meditative gesture.
A quiet man can carry a powerful truth.
Tom finally said, his voice low and gravelly, carrying the weight of countless observations. His gaze shifted from the window pane, now almost entirely obscured by frost, to meet Eleanor's, a knowing glint.
Reminds me of a fellow who used to come through here on Tuesdays, regular as clockwork, always on the early train to the city. Never missed it, not for driving rain, nor the fiercest blizzard. He was a silent fixture, an expected presence, like the steady pulse of the station itself.
Eleanor listened intently. The soft hum of the station's electric lights, a low, steady thrum, a gentle counterpoint to Tom's unfolding narrative. The air, still and hushed, pressed in, amplifying the intimacy of their shared stories, making the station feel like a secure, small world.
He was a laborer, by the looks of him.
Tom continued, settling deeper into the bench's warmth.
Dressed in the same worn, but meticulously tidy, dark clothes, thick trousers, a faded flannel shirt, and a heavy wool coat. But his hands, Eleanor, his hands were what truly caught your eye. Gnarled, strong, covered in calluses and faint scars, like the deep roots of an ancient oak tree. They spoke of years spent in honest, demanding work. His face was etched with lines, testament to sun, wind, and countless hours of silent contemplation. But his eyes, they held a steady, unblinking intensity, like a hawk's observing from a great height, missing nothing. He was never hurried, never flustered.
The distant sounds of the city, a muffled hum, receded further, leaving only the focused intimacy of Tom's calm, measured voice. Eleanor pictured the scene with startling clarity. Silas, a silent sentinel in the pre-dawn quiet, a figure of quiet resilience, a stark contrast to hurried travelers. She imagined the chill of those snowy mornings, the lingering scent of damp wool, and the faint metallic tang of the train tracks.
One particularly snowy morning,
Tom recalled, his voice dropping, becoming more reflective.
a real blizzard had swept in overnight, coating everything in a thick blanket of white. The station was unusually cold, the air thick with suspended frost and hushed. Only a few of us were stranded, a young couple shivering, glancing impatiently at the clock. A weary traveling salesman trying to read his newspaper, sighing audibly. And Silas, he just sat there on this very bench,
Tom gestured.
and, to my surprise, began to work on something.
The imagined chill of the snow-laden air, mixed with damp wool and cold metal, briefly filled the quiet. Eleanor listened, mesmerized, a faint warmth spreading through her chest, anticipation building.
He reached into his worn canvas bag.
Tom continued, his gaze distant.
And pulled out a small, rough piece of driftwood. It wasn't striking, just a fragment, pale and unassuming, smoothed by ocean waves, its color muted by sun and salt. Then, from his pocket, he produced a small, simple penknife. It was old, but meticulously cared for, handle polished, blade thin and sharp, gleaming faintly. No fancy tools, just that one humble blade, an extension of his hand. He held the wood gently, turning it slowly, feeling its contours, its unique texture, the subtle undulations of its grain.
The low hum of the station's electrical system, barely audible, became a subtle, comforting current underlying Tom's words, pulling the listener deeper into the scene, into the quiet observation of Silas's methodical movements. Eleanor pictured the scene vividly, snow falling, the hushed waiting room, a tableau of quiet human endurance, and the simple beauty of the man and the wood, isolated in their shared moment.
He started to carve the wood.
Tom's voice dropped, becoming almost reverent.
Slowly, methodically. There was no haste, no urgency. He didn't draw first, didn't seem to have a preconceived image. It was as if he was simply letting the wood guide his knife, allowing its innate form to reveal itself. He would turn the piece, feel its grain, locate a knot, and then make a cut with deliberate, unhurried strokes. The blade would glide, a soft whisper of steel against wood, shaving off tiny, incredibly fragrant curls that fell softly onto his lap like delicate, aromatic brown leaves. His face, usually unreadable, held a concentration so profound, so utterly absorbed, that it seemed to quiet the entire room, drawing restless energy out of the air.
The imagined scent of fresh-cut wood, earthy and clean, mingled subtly with old paper and coal, filling the quiet air with purposeful work. Eleanor leaned forward, her breathing soft and even, mirroring the calmness Tom described. The silence became a living, breathing thing, holding the narrative's unfolding.
The fidgety young man, pacing nervously, breath fogging the air, eventually stopped. He stood there, mesmerized, watching Silas. His shoulders, previously hunched, seemed to relax. Then another, the weary salesman, set down his pocket watch and sat near, observing. Silas never looked up. He was completely absorbed, a quiet island of focus. The way his gnarled fingers moved, the blade shaving the wood, the soft whisper of shavings, it was like a quiet, ancient dance performed for himself, yet shared with all present through his unwavering presence. He worked for nearly 2 hours, lost in rhythmic engagement, until the distant rumble of the approaching train finally vibrated through the floor, growing into a gentle hiss as it pulled slowly to a stop.
Tom paused, his gaze resting on the now empty tracks, a faint glimmer of moisture in his eyes, recalling the snowy morning. He finished his coffee, warmth lingering, a shared silence stretching comfortably.
When the train arrived, its vast bulk momentarily eclipsing the lamps, Silas simply put his knife away, placed the unfinished wood back in his bag, and stood. He didn't show it to anyone, didn't seem to care if anyone had watched. He just walked to the train, his presence leaving a palpable sense of calm in the waiting room, a quiet residue of his concentrated peace. The nervous young man sighed, a deep, relaxed sigh that seemed to release all his pent-up impatience and tension, and, with a new lightness, followed Silas, as if Silas's quiet focus had transferred, a silent gift. I realized then, Eleanor, that Silas wasn't just carving wood. He was carving moments of pure, unwavering presence. He didn't need a perfect sculpture. The act of creating, of simply being with the material, of giving himself fully to the immediate task, was his profound offering to himself, and a silent, unspoken blessing to the few watchers around him. He found his harmony in the simple, rhythmic engagement with the world.
The station was quiet once more, only the soft, rhythmic ticking of the clock. The distant hum of the city seemed to fade into a soothing lullaby, a gentle backdrop to the profound stillness that had settled within the station house. Eleanor looked at Tom, then at the empty bench where Silas had sat, a soft smile spreading across her face, a quiet warmth kindling in her own chest, echoing the newfound peace in the air. The cold outside still lingered, a reminder of the world beyond, but inside, a profound, quiet warmth had settled, a subtle understanding woven into the very fabric of the night. The stories, like the invisible patterns traced on a frosty window or the unfinished piece of driftwood, were not about grand conclusions or dramatic events. They were about the profound beauty found in the simple, quiet act of living each moment with presence, of finding stillness within the rhythm of daily life. The station, a silent witness to countless departures and arrivals, to hurried goodbyes and weary welcomes, held these truths within its aged walls, offering them to those who chose to listen, even in the deepest hours of the night. The two quiet figures, Eleanor and Tom, guardians of the night, carried these echoes of human experience, understanding that even in the most mundane settings, life unfolded in quiet, beautiful revelations, waiting to be observed and felt, bringing a sense of calm and connection to the heart. As this narrative journey concludes, hold its tranquil peace and insights. Now slowly return, feeling refreshed. Gently open your eyes to your present moment,